The complaint heard in almost every household: slow internet. And my next guest says you may be surprised to hear your internet service provider is most likely not to blame. Sarah Kimmel blogs at Family Tech Zone. She's here to help us all understand what's really slowing down our computer. You say, I'm kind of not surprised. It typically comes down to user error.
Definitely. So I see it all the time on like Facebook and even in my own neighborhood. Like, my internet service provider is the worst. And it's the same one as mine. And I'm like, mine's not the worst, so it's probably not my fault.
Okay, pretend we are your neighbors and help us troubleshoot. You say the first thing to look for is a good Wi-Fi router.
Yeah, so when you sign up for your internet service, they'll usually give you some equipment that can be used as a wireless router, and most people just go with that and stay there. But it is the worst wireless router you could have in your house.
That's where you might be able to complain a little bit about the service provider.
Well, yeah, but like really that's your fault because you shouldn't be using theirs.
Okay.
You buy your own Wi-Fi router and plug it into their equipment. You know, 'cause their equipment is going to be the one bringing the signal in.
Right.
But then you bring in your wireless router and broadcast that to the house.
What can we expect to spend on a good, decent quality router?
I would not spend less than $200.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I personally would spend around like $350 to maybe $400. What people don't understand is it is the technology in your house that gets used the most. Every single piece of equipment in your house goes through that router, and it gets used all day, every day. So you really want to spend good money on a good router, and your internet will be awesome.
Cough it up and invest. You say where we place that router also plays a big role in the speed of your signal.
Yeah, huge role. So sometimes they're not very pretty to look at. They'll put them in a corner.
Yeah, I was like, don't tell me to put it on my coffee table, Sarah. Don't tell me.
Not your coffee table, but probably somewhere high that is kind of central to your house. So if you can, you want to put it like up on a bookshelf, or we have ours on this little ledge. Like a lot of houses have those little like decorative areas. You can put it up there, you know, just somewhere high and central to the house.
If I'm covering it, if I'm trying to mask it with like a nice faux plant or something, is that also contributing to the problem?
Yeah, so a lot of those like DIY, like you can make like it look like a bookcase that surrounds your router. And I'm like, don't do that. You're just hiding your signal. Like if you want good internet, don't try and hide it. Don't try and cover it up with stuff. You know, you want it in a nice open area and not around a lot of other electronics, because that will also affect the signal.
So we will now be canceling our segment plan for next week on how to decorate. No, I'm just kidding. There was no segment plan.
How to decorate your Wi-Fi.
But had there been, it would be canceled. What about advice for people with large homes?
So there's this new kind of systems called mesh systems. And almost every good router place will have it. So Netgear has their own mesh system. And what it does is it has different devices that you place kind of all over the house, and they all work together to bring the signal to the entire house. So houses larger than about 2,000, maybe even 3,000 square feet should probably invest in a mesh system.
Okay, that will connect you kind of room to room.
Yeah, so you know, you can place them all over the house. I would place them, you know, the router in a nice central location, and then in the like extended areas of the house, put the different mesh systems.
All right, finally, viruses. Teach us as much as you can in a minute or less about viruses.
So viruses have a big deal with slowing down your internet.
Sure.
Because it will affect all the traffic. So a virus comes onto your system, and it's constantly doing things on the internet. It's trying to get signals back and forth. It's, you know, trying to I won't get into super technical stuff.
I love when Sarah tries to water it down for me. She knows who she's talking to, and so she's like, it's trying to just, never mind, just trust me.
It's trying to do stuff,
Yeah.
yes. And so it'll definitely affect the signal and bring even entertainment systems down. So if your Roku is slow, but the computer is on, the computer might have a virus, and it's taking up all that bandwidth.
So clean it up, get good software and protection in place.
Yes, for sure.
And then while it may not be your service provider, you say it could be your neighbor?
Definitely. So the neighbors could also affect your signal if they're hopping onto your Wi-Fi. Maybe your password isn't very secure. So they could hop onto your Wi-Fi, take all of your bandwidth. Then if they get viruses, then that can also
Fine. I'm going to give them 10% of the blame.
Yes,
I will own the rest, and with Sarah's tips, hopefully speed things up at my house and yours. You did a whole blog post about this. It's really informative. Where can we dial that up?
So my website is familytechzone.com, and I have a new podcast too that's Family Tech Talk.
Awesome. Family Tech Talk.
Yes.
Way to go. It's about time you entered that podcast
I know.
space.
It's been forever.
All right. We'll be reading and listening. Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you.